Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to talk about Zoom, okay? So if you go to Task up here, and you go to Scan, this is where your LIHTC Zoom is going to open up, okay? This is how they're going to scan things to different areas of the chart.
Okay.
Okay, now, do you have this scanner hooked up to this?
No.
Okay. The first thing, we can configure this, but we're not going to be able to test it.
Okay.
Okay, you have to make sure that the scanner you have set up to their offices has a Twain driver.
Okay.
You know, I will tell you that, what is the one? Fujitsu makes a workhorse. And I will tell you that that is the scanner of choice. You know, for as much stuff as you guys will be scanning.
Yeah, that's what we have.
You have Fujitsu?
Yeah.
Okay. It's got to have a Twain driver, though. Okay? So you're going to have to network it, and you're going to have to make sure it has a Twain driver. When you're configuring your Zoom, okay, you go up here to File, Configuration, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to configure this area here to go to your P drive. So we're going to go to My Computer, and we're going to go to the P drive. Where's our P drive? Here's our P drive. Okay. Now, the first thing you want to look is see if there's a scan folder, and I didn't see one. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go back up to your P drive, and we are going to make a new folder. We're going to call this folder Scans. Just go ahead and type that in and put Scans. Okay, now we're going to make another new folder underneath that. And we're going to call it Archives. Okay. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to do here, you're going to click on Scans, and you're going to say OK. What this does is this changes so that when you're scanning things in here, it's all of the things that you scan in are going to be saved to your P drive. Right?
Okay.
Then what we're going to do is we're going to archive the loaded folder, the loaded files. So we're not going to delete them. We're going to move them. Once they've been saved in the patient's chart, we're going to move them from the scanned folder to the archive folder. All right? So obviously we're going to go here and go ahead and find that archive folder for me. Very nice. So now up at the top, go to Behavior. All right. So we expand the Explorer window. That's very good. Here's what we're going to talk about here. These default note dates. Okay. The default note dates, Ryo, are this date here. This is the date of the document.
Okay.
I always strongly recommend that you default the date to the current date. Because if you default the note date to the date of the last file, and the last time they scanned something was 2 weeks ago, which
That
I know
makes
is
sense.
kind of, you know what I mean? It goes back to that date. If you default the note to the last chosen date, and you put in, because you can change it on the fly, right? These are just default.
Right.
So if somebody scanned in an X-ray that was done 3 years ago, and you had default note date to last chosen date, seriously, the one you're scanning in is going to say that unless you change it. And clear note date, if you didn't put a note in, if you got busy and you didn't put a date in, would have no date at all. So in my opinion, it makes sense to default it to the date that you're scanning in, so that if you forget to change the date, you've at least got the date that you scanned it in. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Default titles. These are the different areas of the chart that you can put things in. So what you'll want to do is have them start adding titles to those. What are the types of things that they could use in this drop down? They can type it in on the fly, okay? But they can also create a list for themselves, so they can just do a drop down and click on the title. It's just kind of a fast thing to do. These requirements here, these requirements are going to tell you what needs to be signed off on. And when they actually get their Zoom training, we'll go over that more, okay? So that kind of makes sense to you, what we were doing there?
Yeah, go back to where you were again.
File.
Okay.
Configuration.
Default titles is what you were just talking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So in other words, if they're going to be scanning things into consults, right? You might want to put down consult from Dr. blah blah blah, or consult from blah blah blah, or ankle consults, or whatever the title is of that document, so they have something that they can, because everything in this system is searchable by title.
Okay.
If it doesn't have a title, you can't search for it, right? It's just like anything else that's electronic. It's not like, anything that's searchable has to have a common denominator, right? So title is the thing that makes it searchable. Good deal?
Yep. I'm
Okay.
just trying to think of what to start out with there. I'll have to get some input on that. They may know already what to put there.
And they may. And keep in mind that when they are adding things, those get saved too.
Oh, okay. So we don't have to go back and build this table necessarily.
Nope.
Okay.
But it's just a way to make things faster for you.
Now, when they add stuff on the fly, will it show up in this table? If I want to go back and change it? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay? Now, when they're scanning a document in, they're going to hit this scan button, and it's going to bring them to this page here. And if you're live, we could spend a little bit more time talking about it, but what I want to talk about is this resolution here. Okay? We need to talk about what you're scanning in. Most things are going to be TIFF files, and TIFF files are typically black and white files. So you would put your, lab reports, things like that, are going to go in here under black and white. Color is going to give you, just kind of a TIFF file that's got color on it, so to speak. But anything that is a PDF that's being scanned in has got to be put in under, any digital pictures needs to get put in under photo high resolution.
Okay.
Okay, so if they're taking digital pictures of somebody and they want to load them in to the, special, to the images chart tab, they're going to want to do it under photo high resolution. Make sense?
Yes, I'm going to have to sit down and work with my scanners to see if they work. I got two different types, and I've got one type I don't think is going to work, but I will see.
It must, just keep in mind, it must have a Twain driver. Okay?
Yes.